It's time for more Manifesting Original Rich Bitch Experiences. Each week, we're talking travel, wellness, and millennial musings with a level of refinement. What level? It fucking depends. I'm your host, Ava Bilkey. Welcome back to the More Pod. We have another super exciting episode this week, and I'm really excited to get into this topic. So, specifically today, we are going to be talking all things wardrobe and styling. And about a year ago, I actually started my own journey of creating a capsule wardrobe. And this was really initiated by the fact that I was packing up all of my things into two suitcases to travel to the other side of the world and live my best life in London. And I didn't know what to bring, how to pack, how to approach anything. I embarked on this sort of journey of creating a capsule wardrobe. And I'm glad that I did it, but I had a lot of resistance to it in the beginning. And I'm so excited to be joined by the person who helped me overcome all of this resistance and really helped me create a capsule wardrobe that feels like something that is truly an example of how I feel on the inside. I think it's been so helpful to have clothes that help me express myself and just enough that I can fit it in a suitcase and pack up my life. So today we are joined by Amanda Busby, the lifestylist. As the lifestylist, Amanda works with all of her clients to develop their signature style and really transform their lives through confidence coaching, wardrobe editing, personal shopping, and intuitive styling, ultimately helping her clients feel empowered, aligned, and really owning their sense of self. And I absolutely did feel this way. She is also the editor in chief of a women's magazine called The Circle, which aims to share stories that make us unique and also the ones that unite us all. And she is also the host of the Always Ask podcast, where she's on a mission to bring you some of the most influential minds that have really inspired her journey of self discovery around the globe as well. So, with that, Amanda, welcome to the More Pod.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here, and this is going to be so fun.
Absolutely.
As I mentioned in your intro, you are a multi passionate entrepreneur, and I absolutely love that about you. Today, I really want to focus on styling. And so I would love to hear just a bit about your background in terms of how you got into styling and how you really identified this passion for helping people find their signature styles.
Yeah, great question. And how did I get into styling? So I was a theater major, did a lot of performing and acting, directing, costuming, makeup. So the aesthetic part of styling and fashion, costume design came from that. I always loved different textures and colors and, creating this beautiful work of art on human beings, right? Wearing the style. And then as I sort of went through my own self-discovery journey and went through a lot of self-development, I started kind of blending the two. So how does the aesthetic and the more sort of superficial piece of styling blend with, like you said at the beginning, how you feel on the inside, and how does that translate? How do you blend them together and help people, number one, understand what colors work for their skin tone, what shapes work for their body type, which is very important. But then also, internally, how are we showing off their personality? How are we showing off, who they are? And again, blending those two to help people feel really confident in what they're wearing, from a feeling perspective and from, the color, style, shape perspective as well.
The fun parts, yeah.
The fun parts.
The
Yeah.
fun parts. It's so true though, because I think, when we first connected on this and I was like, Amanda, like I need a capsule wardrobe and I don't know
Yes.
exactly why, but like I was very I was coming off of leaving a corporate career. And I
Yep.
think one of the things that happens in that sort of setting or environment is there's a certain type of clothes you're expected to wear, a certain way you're supposed to dress. And
Mm-hmm.
like I absolutely hated that. And I knew it wasn't me, but my closet at that point was just that leftover stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was like from that frustration of feeling like I wasn't expressing who I was through my wardrobe.
Right.
It really kind of set me on the journey of being like, I need help here. Like, what are we going to do? And capsule wardrobes specifically, I think are a little bit triggering for some people. They're on the outside, they can seem a little restrictive or a little harsh or even a little kind of neutral or corporate or business casual, anyways, just kind of based on like the things you see on Pinterest about capsule or, the ways that certain people do them. But I want you to help me debunk that today because I don't think that's true. But when we talk about capsules specifically, what is a capsule wardrobe and who would this be good for?
Yeah, great question. So a capsule wardrobe is really, it can look different for everybody. So the amount of pieces in a capsule wardrobe can totally vary based on you and what you're going for. But a capsule wardrobe is basically narrowing down the wardrobe to a select number of pieces that can interchange easily with each other and can give you every option needed in a very small, kind of concise, compact space. And as far as who benefits from it, I think it's really interesting that you say like, okay, all the, ideas on Pinterest and the things that we see can feel really restrictive. And I am definitely not a minimalist. I'm self-proclaimed maximalist. I always get the heavy sticker on my luggage. Like,
Yes.
It's funny because I am the worst at this in some ways. But for me, like when I even started kind of working on this and helping clients, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want my variety, But I think what it can do is it can actually give you more freedom than restriction, because when I pack really heavy and my suitcase is like full of so many options, I end up wasting a lot of time trying to decide, trying to repack. It's like the sort of decision fatigue. So I think that the more we can kind of narrow down, whether it's just for packing or you just want to try that lifestyle, only keeping pieces that you really love, that interchange with each other, that are practical and, fit your style brand statement and sort of what you really want to portray. It gives you more freedom and more time and more space than you would think. So it's not actually as restrictive as it can seem to be.
And I love that. And it's kind of like, I think about sometimes the uniform, right? And the purpose that a uniform serves. Like, Steve Jobs wasn't wasting his energy in the morning on what he was going to wear. It was the black turtleneck and the jeans, and he was off making the iPhones.
Yes.
I kind of fall into that sometimes where I'm like, especially in the wintertime, I'm like, my uniform is sweatpants.
You're great at that. You've got those great fuchsia ones.
Yes, I have one really cute pair of wide-legged sweatpants, which we actually based some of my capsule
We did.
journey off of. But it is interesting because, you mentioned like liking to have options and sometimes feeling overwhelmed with too much.
Yeah.
I find that even when I pack, say I feel like I don't have enough, ultimately when I'm wherever I am with my suitcase, I only end up wearing like 2 or 3 pieces.
Yes.
Time and time again anyways.
Yes.
So is this kind of part of the capsule and really looking at what you love most and just kind of leaning into those things?
Yes, absolutely. So, and I think it's helpful, like whether you're packing for a trip or just lifestyle wise, you're like, I have too much stuff in my closet. The beautiful thing about kind of editing and only keeping the pieces that you love, again, is that decision fatigue. So it just gives you more space for what you actually feel good in and like and want to wear. So, really going through your closet piece by piece, and I'll do this with clients, every single item. We did this together, right? Like we had you try everything on. We like really felt into every single choice and kind of our, the categories or the list of things that we measured things against was, do you love it? Does it fit you? Because a lot of people keep things that do not even work for their body type now, right? And then we developed your kind of like a mission statement, but your style brand statement. So we went through this whole process of, who are you? Who do you want to show up as? What are your favorite colors, styles? And we kind of curated that. So going through your closet or going through when you're packing and only keeping pieces that fit those, categories, again, allow you the freedom to feel really clear when you're making those choices. And it takes some of that overwhelm away, right? Versus like you're getting up in the morning and you have to run to work and you go and grab a pair of jeans and you put them on and they don't fit. Plus you feel, the mental game, that's where like as a life coach, I work with that underneath, like what's going on internally. And it actually can really set you back mentally and emotionally to put something on that doesn't fit, you don't feel good in, you don't even like, then you're like going to work with that emotional baggage hanging over your head. So it's a physical clearing of the stuff and of the clothes, and also mental, emotional clearing. And especially like for you on the trip, you were like, I want the freedom to, play and explore and work and have that, all of that energy and capacity for that, not like digging through your suitcase every morning and figuring out what to wear,
Totally. And it's so interesting that you really kind of fuse like the emotional, what's going on underneath.
Yeah.
Because I think that having gone through this process with you, and I want to talk specifically about like where somebody could even start with this process.
Right.
But, having gone through this process with you, my whole viewpoint on possessions has changed. When I think about like the things that I have in my home or in my wardrobe or in storage, units even, it's like,
yes.
Why do I feel like I need to hold on to this? And it seems like there's just so much underlying when it's like, maybe you're a little bit of a pack rat, or maybe it's like you can never really get rid of anything, or you just accumulate all this stuff. It's like, well, now I look at things, I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't love that. Like this doesn't serve me. This doesn't fit me. Like, let it go. Let it go.
Yes.
So if somebody wants to embark on, or at least try on, the idea of having a capsule wardrobe, and they are sort of overwhelmed with like, how could I possibly narrow down my closet to, a collection of items that could fit in a bag? What is the process? Where does someone even start with creating a capsule wardrobe?
Well, one good way, I've actually done this with a couple of clients, if you have the luxury of space, is you can literally, like your word, try it on. So if you're not quite ready to like you were amazing. Ava got down to like, I don't know, 13 items in her closet. Like she was like, hardcore about
burn it all. She was amazing. I hate everything.
She's like, get rid of it. Like we really curated that down. Yeah. And it was, with you, it was like 2 dresses. Yeah. 2, leather jacket and a jean jacket. I think 1 or 2 pair of jeans. It's like really, really minimal. You were awesome at it. It was so much fun. But
I'm wearing one of the dresses right now.
Oh, are you really?
Like one of my black dresses. It's on.
I like it. And that's part of the capsule wardrobe, having versatility in it, right? Yeah. Like, and that one you've worn so many different ways: heels, tennis shoes, wedges, dress it up, dress it down. But if you're not ready for it, you literally can try it on. So if you have again, the space, you can play with curating it down to 20 items and put the rest in a closet downstairs if you really want to just kind of get your feet wet. But the best way is to, we have a whole checklist of like pants, shorts, shoes, a little dress, a long dress, long sleeve, short sleeve, right? So get your list and your categories. And then your goal is 1 or 2 pieces in each category, and that's it. So starting to narrow down your clothes into those categories, try everything on and choose the favorite 1 or 2 from each category. And then the other kind of next step is, again, each piece, ideally, because you're so limited, should be able to work with 1, 2, or even 3 other items in that capsule wardrobe, right? Because you're going to be layering and changing, and you don't have the variety of your, 10 blazers that you used to have. So choosing colors and patterns that work together really well is also something that's helpful.
So with colors and with patterns, we talked about, like, I'm very much in the camp of like leopard print is a neutral in my world.
Me too. Absolutely. Of course.
But it's like, how, like, is there, and you help, this is part of the process, right? But like color palette, like how does one do that without having like a very beige and boring wardrobe?
Yes, good question. And I think that's a misconception too, or a myth, is it has to be black and white and beige, right? Like neutral. But you actually did a lot of like this color, the fuchsia, and we pulled in those animal print neutrals and great purple that you look so good in. Like we pulled those pieces in. Golds we pulled in for you too. So I think it's just really, there's a whole process of kind of helping you find the colors that work with your skin tone and what works best. And if you're doing it on your own, it's playing with, colors that you're drawn to, holding it up in a mirror and just noticing how your skin looks. And, there's a whole theory that we can go through with that, but just noticing what you're drawn to. And then it's mixing and matching. So maybe you leave 20% of your capsule wardrobe for color and pattern, and then 80%, more neutral, which could be even like the black that you have on, but then that light blue shirt, like that's a neutral too. So just knowing that neutrals don't have to be black, white, and beige. They can be more muted colors, right? And then blending with the brighter, bolder colors and patterns.
Totally. Yes. Do you hear that, everyone? Neutrals do not just have to be black, white, and beige.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We said it.
Now, I hope everyone hears that.
Yes. I mean, and that's part of what's more like freeing about it, right? When you realize that those like old, still corporate Pinteresty photos of the capsule wardrobe, like that doesn't have to be what we're doing here.
Right. Right. And I think that's a big piece in styling and fashion that we need to remember. And I think you do a great job with this is let it be fun. Like, I was in Australia with my 6-year-old little niece and she like layered on 5 tutus and put on fairy wings and had a crown and had, like high top tennis shoes. And can we allow ourselves to play and have the freedom there, as well as staying, whatever you need to sort of fit into as far as it needs to be professional or it needs to be, more serious. Like understandably, those things can be a part of our wardrobe for different reasons, but let yourself play with it too. I think people probably because of time and decision fatigue, you kind of lose that freedom. And so again, with each piece, I want you to love it. I want you to walk into your closet, open up your suitcase and go, I love every piece. And I think just don't forget to play and have fun with it,
Oh, yes. I love that visual of like the 5 tutus because it is kind of like, well, what did you love when you were a kid?
Absolutely.
Before society said like, this is what it means to look like you're successful or have a good job or you have to fit into this type, it's like going back to, like you said, what you're naturally drawn to, even from a colors perspective. It's like, well, what do you like?
Yeah. Yes.
And so often we forget to ask ourselves those things, which is so sad.
Yeah. And it's making time for it, right? Like you said, we did several kind of sessions in your closet and working through what your style is, what you want it to be. Like you really have to carve out time to make that happen and to have that intention of like, whether you're working with a stylist or just on your own, like say, okay, I'm going to do an hour on Sunday and just play with your clothes, try them on, feel into what feels good, put some intention behind it, because it's sort of like anything else. Like during the week, you're running, you're going, you're putting on, whatever works for the day. You don't have time in that process to really sit back and think and kind of take an inventory. So I think create that space in your life to intentionally think about what you want to wear and how you want to show up.
Yeah, I love that. And if I'm recalling the process properly, we kind of go through this like trying on everything we have, getting rid of the things that don't fit, getting rid of the things we don't like.
Yeah.
Thinking about, the colors or patterns or shapes that we would like to have in clothing. Then you actually have to acquire the clothes.
Yes.
And
yes.
For some people who don't love shopping, this part of the process can be kind of a pain in the ass. And I've always told you, it's not that I don't like the end result of having the thing that I love to wear. It's that sometimes I get pretty overwhelmed with even like looking, where do I go? How do I find this piece? Like, what are your best recommendations for approaching the actual shopping for finding those pieces that you can wear time and time again that you really love?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because have such an eye for style. So when you told me I don't really like shopping, I'm like, what? You would think otherwise. But I think you've been able to curate pieces that you really love and,
Yeah.
show up well in. But I think there's a lot of people in that camp that really don't like it, don't have the time for it, don't know where to start. And that can be challenging. So I think with choosing the specific pieces,
Hmm.
and figuring out what to wear. First of all, sort of, going through an inventory of what styles do I love? And again, this is kind of the creative play part. So maybe
Hmm.
it's, set aside a half an hour, get on Pinterest, get online, see what you're inspired by. And then, we always sort of curate a list of brands that you really like, stores that you like. So just getting a feel for what direction you want to go. Is it more kind of hippie, like boho? Is it more preppy? Is it more, more glam? Like figuring those pieces out. And again, taking time to do that.
Hmm.
And then, online shopping is such a great way if you don't like in person. We did a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of that with my clients. And I think the trick with that, like you found, is ordering multiple sizes in, one brand, ordering,
Hmm.
I think we ended up ordering, it was like black jeans or something. And we ended up ordering
Oh,
28 pair and like
so many.
all
And I
these different
returned them
brands.
all.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So being willing to invest the time into ordering all of that, trying it all on, sending it back. And actually, I worked with Clinton Kelly on a style workshop from What Not to Wear, and he's amazing. And we produced this workshop together. And something he taught me, which I always will remember, is shopping is not always fun. A lot of it is work.
Mm.
And if we can shift our perspective of like, I need to fill these pieces out in my wardrobe, and just looking at the process of, it's not meant to always be a fun thing. Like jeans on that
Mhm.
show, they would do makeovers, and it was like 200 pair of jeans before they would find one. So
Honestly.
yeah,
Mhm.
you're not alone. It's okay. Give yourself the time and space to try all that on, get all the sizes, return it, if it doesn't
Mhm.
work, because it's not always a quick thing. And I think people get discouraged by that. They try on 2 pair of jeans and they're like, I can't find anything. Forget it. It's like, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no.
That's me. I literally every
Yeah.
pair I ordered, I'd, like, put them on, snap a photo, text it to Amanda, and be like, "This sucks, doesn't it?" She's like, "Well, I wouldn't put it that way. However, you
We
know,
can do better. There's
we
a
could
better
do better." And I think
option.
the best thing that I've discovered with just this process of, like, shopping online
Yeah,
is I will always go to the places that have free shipping and free returns.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
then
Yes.
you don't really lose anything, right?
Yeah.
Like you can order a bunch, try them on, return them. And that's the best way if you can find the stores or the retailers online that do have free shipping and free returns, because
Hmm.
there will be some returns.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, knowing that, like if you're going into it knowing, okay, I'm going to be trying on a ton of stuff, I'm going to get sweaty, I'm going to have to repack it, I'm going to have to return 95% of it,
Yeah.
then you can have fun with it, right?
Yes. And it's just like hearing you say, 200 pairs, but like went into the show. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, of course, because nothing is like what we see. They're like everything's edited. Of course, it wasn't like they found the perfect pair on the first try,
No.
but it's just nice to be like reassured and reminded of that. So,
Yes.
like, there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with you when you're trying on all the jeans. Like, it's the jeans
Hmm.
problem, you know?
I like that. It's a jeans problem. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with you, babe. It's just the
Nope.
jeans. They don't fit you
And
right.
from an emotional, again, standpoint, like that is so hard. Trying on jeans, trying on clothes, and having things not fit body image
Mhm.
wise can be detrimental, right? So I think it's,
Yeah.
again, I'm about both, like the internal and external with the process of clothes and fashion. And so reminding yourself, it's not you, it's the jeans. I love that
Yeah.
one, right? Like,
Exactly.
and I think that's sort of something that I really focus on too, is sort of one of my goals with styling is not to be hung up on, I have to wear the trend. I have to do, what's cool right now. I have to, what's in style, but finding what works best for your body type. Because when you
Mm.
find the jeans that work for you, or the dress or that style, it's like, oh my gosh, you feel night and day a difference, right? With how you feel.
Yeah.
And that confidence is so important. with whatever you wear. Because if you feel confident in it, you're going to look great in it. If you feel insecure, you're going to feel it. Everyone's going to feel it. Doesn't matter
Mm,
what you wear, right?
so true. So it's really less about being on trend and more about wearing what fits and suits you best.
Yes. And I
Okay.
always say focus on that, maybe, 80, 90%. Find your signature style and what
Mhm.
works, what colors and shapes, and then sprinkle in a little bit of the trend every season because that's fun. That keeps it playful and
Right.
fresh and relevant, but that should be less than your, specific style that works for you.
That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
One of the things that I think is also a little tricky, and I want you to help us through this, is and specifically, like my situation last summer, I knew specifically where I was going to be living. I had a really good idea of the climate. I knew kind of the vibe of the city. But I think about people who maybe travel more full time as nomads, or people who are traveling a lot for work and they're hitting a lot of different cities, states, countries, climates. It can be a little bit trickier to have a capsule that feels like it fits every climate, every season, every situation. Like, what I'd wear on the beach in Tulum probably looks a little different than like what I wear in Notting Hill in London. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yes.
So, with that in mind, though, are there certain pieces that are universal that a listener could start with adding to their capsule that you think would be good regardless of the situation? Like, what are some of those staple pieces for every wardrobe?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because we've been nomads now for 2 years almost to the date. So we
Yes.
have had stuff in storage, and my husband and I have been traveling, and we have hit all the climates and all over the globe. And so I can say from personal experience, it's been interesting to watch myself, pack and repack and storage unit and what comes with me from,
Yes.
Australia to New York to Chicago to Minnesota, right? Like, how do you pack for all of that? So I've been able to really get some practice on, on my own advice
Yeah.
with it. But some of the staples are actually like your little black dress that you have on.
Okay.
That is one to me that, and that's been a standard for forever, right? But finding one that's versatile, that you can dress up and dress down, that you can throw on like that oversized um, shirt, you can throw on a jean jacket, and you can do heels or tennis shoes. So that's something that has stayed in my suitcase from 2 years ago to now that you
Yeah.
can do a lot with. Actually, jean jacket is another one that I've used quite a bit. So the layering pieces, and shifting of the weather. It's worked for a lot of different things.
Hmm.
A great scarf. So I have one that is again for it's kind of like a medium weight. So if it's a little bit cool and I'm cold, I can use it as like a wrap and give me a little bit of help with the temperature, but not too heavy. What else? A great pair of tennis shoes, like the white tenny is such a big one right now, and that's again great with a little black dress or jeans or shorts.
Yeah.
A good wedge is a great travel shoe as well.
Okay.
Um, Heels, I do love, but they're a little more specific if you're just really narrowing, down. But a wedge can go
Right.
casual and dressy if you have to limit your shoes, which is the hardest thing for me. I'm so bad at it.
Shoes. Yeah.
But kind of those accessories like the scarves and the jacket and the layering pieces. I have a little black bolero jacket that's great, whether it's cool or whether it's warm. Um, so yeah, it's definitely interesting with all the different climates and all the traveling. You have to be very choosy in what you're bringing, and
Yeah.
finding pieces that go together. Like I said, that flow together is a big one.
Yes. And you have to put like the super wacky things in storage, or at
I
least I did.
know. I know you did.
Things
Oh, and
that don't
jewelry.
go.
Jewelry, speaking of that, like a great necklace.
Yeah.
Accessorizing is a great way with a capsule wardrobe to really change it up. I have one client, they were just in Paris, and they travel quite a bit, and she's minimal, like carry on for 2 weeks in Paris. I'm like, oh, you are
Wow.
another level. Like I can't do that.
Yes. Carry
But
on
she
for
will
2
pack
weeks in
two
Paris?
weeks. Can you imagine? I couldn't do
Did they
it.
go shopping at all?
They did go shopping, and they pack, and I do this too. They pack a duffel that compresses down. And I do this now when I travel as well, so that when you pack and you leave, you have a whole duffel to fill up with everything that you buy.
That is gold.
It's awesome.
That is the best tip. I never thought to pack a duffel as
Oh,
like your
it's
second bag.
amazing. It's amazing. And I actually found one on Amazon. It's a great deal, like $30. And it folds down and then, yeah, it
Oh,
opens
need.
up. And that way you have all that flexibility for the shopping at the end of the trip.
Oh my gosh,
I
genius.
know.
Okay,
I
I'm
know.
adding that to my cart.
Add it. You got to add it. But she does, yeah, super minimal. And she does big earrings. That's her thing. So, like, every day
Okay.
she'll just choose a different pair of earrings and or a different scarf. And so, you can really refresh your wardrobe with accessories too. That's a big one.
Oh, I love that. And that was going to be one of my questions for you. It's like with the capsule, say you've built it up and you've got your core pieces.
Yep.
How do you know it is time to refresh? And like, how do you go about that? So, accessories seems like one really great way to do so. But
Yeah.
like, do you wear things till they wear out? Or like, what's the kind of mindset with the capsule refresh?
Yep. Capsule refresh is just before they're going to wear out because it might
Okay.
take you some time, as we found with the jeans and a lot of the things. And especially ordering last summer, we had a hard time too, just knowing this for your planning. There were a
Yeah.
couple things that Ava and I were looking at and we're like, okay, we need it in like 2 weeks, and back orders, it's better now, but back orders and
Yeah.
shipping, it can take 4 weeks for pieces to come in. And then you got to like factor in the try on time, the return time, and then maybe you have to shop again if you didn't like anything in that, shopping haul.
Totally. Yeah.
So I think as you're noticing pieces are wearing out, then start to refresh. Because if you wait till they're gone, then there's no guarantee how quickly you'll replace them. So just kind of keeping an eye when it's getting to that end and they're wearing, or, it's peeling up, or, it's starting to wear and tear. Go shopping then.
Yeah, that's great advice because I guess, you don't want to be like wearing ratty clothes at the end of it. Like, you
No.
want to give yourself a little
Like,
time to be like,
there's holes everywhere. Sorry, but
yeah.
yeah, give yourself the space to, figure that out.
Totally. And yeah, I totally forgot about that. It was like we were really experiencing a lot of that just supply and demand
Yeah, big
stressor.
time.
Yeah. Things were sold out. It was crazy times.
Mhm, mhm.
But I agree with you. It has gotten a little better, but it definitely still takes time to acquire the pieces you love.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
Now, I'm thinking about objections, right? Like, what other objections could someone have to this capsule wardrobe? Say that you are like a super active person and you need like multiple outfits a day. So you've got your workout outfit every day, you've got your day to night clothes. Like, how do you, and I guess maybe this gets to what is my next question, which is like, how many pieces of everything do you need? Because I think for me, laundry has been like a big piece of just like being able to live with the capsule is definitely washing things more often. But like, how do you go about accommodating super active lifestyles where people are like sweating through their clothes or changing multiple times a day? Like, what's your best advice for that person who wants to also have a capsule?
Yeah. So again, I think I said this in the beginning, just remembering there's like varying degrees of how much you have. You were
Hmm.
amazingly minimal. I mean, it was like one, maybe two pieces in each category. And you
Yeah.
were awesome at that. And you were like, yes, let's do it. I don't want more. And I'll answer that question in a minute. But did you feel like you had enough when you went on that trip? Like, we talked about it, but you were really minimal. How did that feel
Yeah.
for you?
That's a great question. I think like outfit wise itself, I felt really good. And I
Yeah.
probably only ended up utilizing like half of what I packed anyways.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
I think I could go from two suitcases down to one next time.
Wow. Cool.
I know. But I will say when it comes to things like socks and underwear in, sports bras and yoga pants and those types of things,
Yeah.
that was what I was running out of most,
Yes.
So it's like, I
Totally.
don't know, I think I had like maybe 10 days worth.
Yeah.
But even that, I was like, "Oh gosh, I better be staying somewhere with laundry," like
Uh-huh.
gotta get it in.
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of, I guess, will answer that question too of, I think, pick the category of like things that you need the most of, and maybe you make more space for your workout clothes. Cause I'm that way too.
Mm.
Like I'm going to try to work out every day. So
Hmm.
it's harder just logistically with your sweating and this stuff, and you don't always have laundry. Save space for whatever category you're wearing the most of. Like give yourself a little more room for
Right.
that, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then again, versatility. So finding pieces that they all go together, all the colors, where I love my like bright workout stuff, and making sure it all can kind of go and match together is a big one. Because yeah, you don't always have access to laundry, and you
Right.
need to not smell disgusting. So it's important.
Right.
Oh, and I like, even some of the athleisure, finding ways that you can maybe dress that up and dress that down. So, okay, you're saying like you wish you had more workout options. So maybe we could have packed another pair of black leggings and, maybe some shorts that we could have paired with like a jean jacket and a tank or something. So
Hmm.
if you can kind of find more workout stuff that's a little crossover, then that gives you
Yeah,
more room for both.
that's a great point. Things that you
Yeah.
can kind of wear as both.
Yep, which is so much of now, right? It's like
Yeah,
always mixing and matching with the athleisure even more lately. So I think yeah, being creative with that is a good way.
totally. And you said something that got me thinking. So, utilizing or kind of readjusting your proportions of your own wardrobe based off of what you do.
Right.
So, if you are someone that is more active, you might have to prioritize that. If
Right.
you're somebody that like needs to dress more formally for work or something, you might have to prioritize, I don't know, blazers.
Totally.
What do you personally prioritize in your wardrobe and in your suitcase?
Ooh, this is a good one. Um, for me, I'm doing kind of a lot of crossover work where, when I'm styling or I'm going to events, I don't know, I'm a little more formal, but then I can blend my work life clothes often, which is cool, which is
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
But I end up doing a lot of dresses because that's just my style. I feel good in that. Like I enjoy the energy of that. And then again, pairing it with like wedges or tennis shoes or sandals, dressing it up or down with a blazer or a jean jacket.
Mhm.
Those are great go tos for travel. And when you're traveling so often, you have to think about like, is it super wrinkly, or how do I have to, do I have to iron all of this, and also the space. So dresses are just, they can compress down. You can dress them up, dress them down, accessorize. And
Totally.
rompers or pantsuits, I love for that as well, because
Mm.
a lot of times when I'm, doing a meeting, I don't have to be really formal, but I do want to sort of still keep a level of professionalism. And I like to just, also have fun and be creative with my wardrobe. So that allows some playfulness
Yeah.
there. And again, you can dress it up or down, like with a blazer or heels or tennis shoes or sandals. And those are, yeah, pretty versatile pieces.
I wish I could wear rompers. We've been over
You
this, but my
can.
torso's too long. My
Well,
torso's too
gotta we
long.
did talk about that. I
Yeah,
know. I
they're
love a
not for
good
everyone.
romper.
They're so cute though.
They are, but
And
it's
I love
also the
that for
rompers
you.
with the jeans. I love She's like, "I don't wanna do it, but I love it for you." But you have to try on. We gotta get you to try more on, because that's
Okay.
a similar one with jeans. Is like, what, 100 to 200 pair for one pair. Rompers are the same. There are a lot of
Oh my
rompers. I'm like,
gosh.
no, not good. You gotta try on till you find them.
So once you find one, do you order like multiples of things? Like if you find something that you love, do you go and order it in like four more colors? Like, because I feel like that could be smart if you're like, I finally found the romper that actually fits my body.
My rule with that is no more than two. I've had a couple
Okay.
of clients that take it way too, like, I love this sweater, and then they buy 7 colors in the sweater. I've
Yeah.
had several people like this. So, okay, in some cases, it's that streamlines, right? It fits, you like the quality, you like the price, that's great. But then it can end up sort of, I don't know, it can end up being a bit boring because you have too many things of the same style. So I encourage people to, just have more versatility in their wardrobe. However, one or two of something I think can be
Hmm.
really helpful, and it's practical, right? It fits, you like the style, get it in 2 colors, but no more
Hmm.
than two, because let's leave room for more creativity would be the
Okay.
the idea.
Okay, that's helpful because I'd be tempted to go like the 7 sweaters route.
Don't do the 7 sweaters. Don't do the 7 sweaters. Again, it's
Okay,
going back
fine.
to give yourself room to play and create.
Yeah.
And with that being said, the realities of life are I'm not spending 2 hours every day thinking about what I'm going to wear. Like no one has that time. So
Yeah.
I also understand the efficiency piece, and that's important too.
No, that makes sense. You have a great point, and I appreciate that. That
Ava's like, I
extra
don't like
guidance
it,
here.
but I appreciate it.
No, I
Whatever.
I have I'd say my most multiplied item is probably these like I'm wearing this oversized kind of button-down shirt.
Yeah, I love that.
This is my 3rd. So, sounds
Okay.
like I'm approaching my maximum.
Yeah, you're done now. That's good. But I like it.
Okay.
I like it. You're cut
I
off.
have white, black, and then this sort of like blue collar blue.
I like the
So,
blue. And threes, that's okay. I'll let
okay.
you off the hook with the 3. No more, though. That's it.
Okay, fine. So, what about you mentioned this with like the dresses and kind of they're really easy to pack.
Yep.
Help us out with the packing here. Are you team roll? Are you team fold? Do you use packing cubes? What's the best way to care for this capsule and bring it with you?
Yes, great question. And oh my gosh, I am an expert on packing now. In the last 2 years, I think I don't know, 3 times a month we're packing up and
Oh my
going.
gosh.
And I traveled quite a bit before, but it's a whole new level when you're doing it consistently. It's like, okay, you really have to be efficient and also figure out what works because it's you're living packing every week, every couple of weeks.
Mhm.
So for me, what I really, really love, and this is game changing, I think we've talked about this, is I have the hard suitcase that folds out. And then I pack, if you think of like a bookcase, so you've got your books like this, you can see all the titles. So I do
Mhm.
that, but lay it down in the suitcase. So
Yeah.
I kind of roll fold, I guess, a little bit so that you're looking down in your suitcase and you can see every single item up and down stacked. And the brilliant part about that is then very often do I take things out of my suitcase. So you don't have to waste the time. You might want to hang a couple of things, but then that's your dresser. And you're not
Mm,
digging through and lifting up and, everything's all over the place trying to find that pair of jeans on the bottom of the stack this way because it's all inverted.
totally. So, I'm with you on this like not unpacking the bag thing because it just makes it I mean, why would you? It makes your
Yeah.
process like
10
4
times
times
longer.
longer and
Oh,
really just treating that open suitcase like your dresser. I
yep.
love that.
Yep. It's
And I feel like
awesome.
then you're less likely to lose things too,
Yes. I
you
have
know?
lost a couple of things and then it keeps it contained. And then packing cubes I do use I'll do like bras in one, socks in one, underwear in one. I think that's it. So kind of my little stuff. And then those are nice too, because you can take that out and throw that
Yeah.
in a drawer. And then it's kind of in its own area. You don't have to worry about it. Scarves, I too will roll up in a little packing cube as well. So you can kind of see all the different colors that you have that way. And then the rest just in that suitcase and
Mhm.
that sort of bookcase style of packing, I'll call it.
Yeah. I think you're the first person that because I utilize that from you. Found myself doing my shirts that way,
Yeah.
but it's like it's not you're right. It's not really folding and it's not rolling. It is this kind of funky combination.
It is.
But when you flip the things so they're almost like, the books on a shelf, it does really help so you can see like, oh, this graphic tee is that one. Like you can see a little
Yes.
bit of what the thing is.
Yep.
And that is really helpful. I feel like you should coin a term for that.
I should. The fold roll bookshelf. I don't
Yeah, the
know.
bookshelf suitcase.
It is the bookshelf suitcase. It is game changing again. And I've traveled quite a bit in my life, but the last 2 years is when I started using that technique, and it's amazing. Super
Oh, I love
helpful.
that.
Oh, and another packing tip: a steamer. I always pack with a travel steamer, and there's
You
a
do.
little one that I love that I can give you for show notes.
Okay.
But that's huge because ironing, I don't know, I don't always want to take the ironing board out. It's this whole process. And especially for like dresses or scarves or things that just are a little bit wrinkly. I have a tiny, tiny steamer, probably the size of like a big coffee mug or a little hair dryer, and it works
Really?
very well.
Wow. Okay. Yes, we'll definitely link that in the show notes. I feel like I need one.
Yes, it's
And
amazing.
it's like I think if you're not an ironing person, like you I think you either iron things or you absolutely do not.
Yeah. There's two
So
camps there.
there's totally two camps there. I do
hmm
not iron.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of a steamer.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, it really helps.
So obviously, you've had a lot of time to curate your signature style. When you think about your style, I'd love to know what are those things that make you feel most you? Like, what are the components of Amanda's signature style that you just absolutely feel your best in?
Yep, I love that. And such a good question because I think when you can hone in on that, it helps make everything easier. So the decision fatigue, the shopping, it's like if this is not a part of my signature style that I feel the best in, I'm not going to buy it, right? So it helps
Hmm.
to keep your wardrobe concise and aligned, right? So for me, it's kind of a blend, but I really love, I'm such a glam girl. Like I love the bright bold colors, the fuchsia. I like a little glam and sparkle with my jewelry. But I also have this unique, and we all have this, which is kind of interesting, this sort of more glam, the heels and the dresses. Like I just feel confident and powerful, the bright red lipstick. But then I also kind of have this like boho hippie flowy vibe as well. So I kind of rotate between both of those. And it's interesting to sort of notice when you gravitate towards, one style versus the other. And then can you mix and match the two? And that's the
Hmm.
fun part, right? Where we get to play. Like, can I have fun with wearing a little black dress and heels and then throwing on some feather earrings and, making it a little more kind of hippie flowy vibe. Um, so yeah, it's just, and I think too, not to limit yourself. Like that is, okay, that's my style, right? My signature
Hmm.
style. But then I don't know, I've always loved dress up and, I was a theater major. So in certain instances, like we were in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I did the little golf outfit. I was like, this is so fun, right? Like, not going
Yeah.
to wear that every day, not me, but fun
Yep.
to play around with things as well. So to give yourself the freedom there. So yeah, a good dress, great heels, great wedges. I love a good color. I love my animal print too. Like Ava said, it's definitely a
Yeah.
neutral.
Amazing.
hmm
So fun.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been so great. I love that you've helped me get here with the capsule wardrobe because
Mm.
like I mentioned, when I went into this, I was like, I'm an Aquarius, good luck. Like
You did. She
it's
said that exact thing, actually.
I was like, it has
Good
to be
luck.
eclectic, it has to be wide ranging and
Yep.
random and
hmm
like it just has to be a little weird.
Totally.
But I feel like there is a way to strike a balance, regardless of what your personal style is, to really pare things down, only wear what you love. And, you make that point of the decision fatigue.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like for
It's
me, I
huge.
feel like so much weight off my shoulders by just knowing that whatever situation I find myself in, I'm going to be able to pull together an outfit that feels like me and it feels good and it feels fitting for whatever the world is bringing on for that day. And it's been so helpful with the travel. So, thank you
Good, good.
for walking us through this capsule wardrobe. Where can people say they're like, I don't want to do this alone? How can you help us out with this?
Definitely feel free to head to my website, Amanda Busby Inc., or Instagram, send me a message or an email. And we can start with, I do a lot of virtual styling and coaching and in person. So what we always start out with is what Ava and I did, which was I walk you through a style process and inventory. We spend about an hour really digging into some of the things that we're talking about today. And
Mhm.
I help you get clear on what your style is, what you want it to be. And then from there, we can dig into curating. So the shopping, whether it's online or in person, and helping you bring in more pieces that you love. I do a lot of education on the way too, which I think is really important so that when you're shopping by yourself, you have people are like, I have Amanda's voice in my head. Okay, don't do wide
Yes.
leg, do skinny leg, right? Like
Yep.
helping you feel empowered to know what looks good on you and why with shapes, sizes, colors, right? Brands. We find brands that you love. And then I also help you with kind of implementing and getting that back into your closet, organizing the space and color coding and, like items and then packing. So Ava and I got in her closet and got it all beautiful and organized. And then, okay, how do we get this in the suitcase? What works? What doesn't?
Yeah.
Um, and clients work with me either, ongoing for different seasonal changes in their wardrobe or different trips that they're packing for, or maybe it's just an event. What do I wear to this event, and what does that look like? So there's a lot of different ways. I always customize it to what the client needs and what they're going through.
Amazing. Not everyone works with a stylist, right? Like, it's kind of like once you've
Yeah.
crossed that point in your life, you're like, wow, I get what people are doing here, but
Yes.
I absolutely love it. And it's so helpful. And I love what you do and how you've really helped me and how you help other people with just feeling like they can express themselves
Mm,
externally the way they feel on the inside. And so
yeah,
thank you
absolutely.
so much for bringing all of your styling wisdom to the podcast today. Amanda, is there
Yes.
anything else that you'd like to share with the More Pod fam?
Well, thanks for having me, and so good to see you. And I think probably kind of my last piece would just be to remember to have fun and be creative. I mean, if you need a visual, think of my little niece and her 10 tutus and her fairy wings, right? Like,
Yes.
just, I think, getting back to that sort of 5-year-old self, or even 10-year-old, or pick a place, in your childhood where you felt like you were fully expressed, and how can you translate that into your, professional adult self? And we're not going to wear fairy wings around, but like, translating that and giving yourself permission to wear what feels good. And I think also not caring how it occurs or what other people think. If you feel good in it, just remember that that's really going to translate into your confidence, how you show up. And then you give other people permission to do the same. And I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Amazing. Amanda, thank you so much. We are going to link all the good things in the show notes. And I look forward to hopefully I get to see you in person soon.
Yes, I hope so. We have to
Yeah,
make that happen.
amazing. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Listen to the More Pod every Wednesday as I share the things that make me more me and discover a thing or two to make you more you.